All right, so welcome to Build Your First Lead Magnet. This training is all about how you can grow your email list using a system that attracts clients to your list. And I am Sarah Lewis. I am the owner of Introverts Emerge. Introverts Emerge is a business coaching company that was founded out of my need as an introvert to help other introverts who are entrepreneurs really kind of break through the barriers that are holding them back, help them put themselves out there and become successful business owners. We need to make a profit in our business. We need clients incoming into our business. And we may not have learned marketing in college. I certainly didn't. So over the 11 years that I've been an entrepreneur, I've had to kind of learn these systems along the way. So my hope today is that you're going to take this information and really use it to help speed up your marketing, getting into systems where things are a little more automated so you don't have to grind on a daily basis to get clients to see your content and to get them in the door and willing to pay you money. All businesses need a profit to survive, and that is my goal, that we can move you from not just the grind and worrying about a paycheck each month to more of a steady income. And that's how I get my clients to move forward and push through the boundaries that may be holding them back. So today is all about build your first lead magnet. So let's see here. So what is a lead magnet? If a lead magnet is something you haven't heard of before, it's got many names. I'm calling it a lead magnet because it's a magnet, so it attracts people to you. But it's also called a freebie. It's also called an opt-in. So it just depends on kind of who you're listening to, but it all means the same thing. Basically, it's a free resource that you offer to your potential clients to get them to sign up or opt in for your email list. So when you have a website or a landing page, which is just a one-page website, when you have that set up, you can drive people to that as you would a blog, but with a lead magnet, you're giving them a reason to commit more. They stay a little longer if you give them something for free that they're really interested in. So we're going to be workshopping that today, thinking about what are my potential clients really interested in, and how can I give them what they want for free so that they give me their email address. So it's a win-win. The potential customer or client gets something free from you that helps them, and it helps you because it helps you grow your list. So instead of them just reading a blog on your website and leaving, they read the blog, they think, oh, well, I could read this blog, that was helpful, and I can get more information by signing up for their email list. So it's a great tool for growing your email list, for getting a bigger commitment from your potential customers so that you can remarket to them down the road. So why do you need a lead magnet? Well, let's start with the social media side. Social media isn't converting. So if you're using social media like Instagram or Facebook for your major marketing methods, and you're not seeing a lot of results from it, there could be a lot of reasons why. But one of the reasons that social media doesn't convert is that you're subject to their algorithms. They don't show your posts to everyone. So only 1 to 5% of your audience actually sees your posts. So that's not great. Instagram is just not going to show your posts to every single one of your followers. So if you have 500 Facebook fans for your page, or if you have 500 Instagram followers, 1% of the 500 is 5. 5% is 25. So between 5 and 25 people may see your post on any given Instagram post. And it's probably even less for Facebook pages, because Facebook is not prioritizing pages and feeds anymore. They're prioritizing groups, Facebook groups. So you may have seen an explosion in groups lately, and that's why Facebook is prioritizing groups. So your engagement on your page is not because you're doing anything wrong. It's literally because Facebook is not prioritizing Facebook pages in your newsfeed anymore like they used to. Okay? So you need more than just social media to reach a larger audience. Another reason why social media may not be converting, like you're posting and you're not getting clients from it, is that you aren't consistent with posting on social media. Another reason that they don't show your posts is that you're not consistent. If you post once a week or twice a month, and it's really irregular schedule of posting, you kind of fall down in their algorithm, and again, they don't show your post to as many people. Another reason social media may not be converting is because your message is unclear. Maybe you're wishy-washy on your stance on things, or maybe you just agree with everything and you just kind of like, you don't, like I said, you don't take a stance. You're wishy-washy on what you're saying. You can be opposed to, say, the ketogenic diet, but you also agree with parts of it. So if you're giving out a message that's unclear and people don't know really what your beliefs are, what your opinions and values are, they're going to be like, well, I don't know if I can trust this person. And of course, when a customer buys, it's all a function of know, like, and trusting you. Another reason social media isn't converting is that you don't include CTAs. So CTA stands for call to action, meaning here's the next step on working with me. So you may write your post and then just leave it, like it was educational and great informative content. But if you don't say, click here to opt into my webpage, or click here for this free gift that I'm offering, or click here to whatever it may be, watch this video. Like if you don't always have to be selling something in a call to action, you just have to be kind of giving them the next step. In Instagram stories, call to actions could simply be just like those polls. Like if you use the polls in Instagram stories, what do you think about soda, diet or regular? Like that's like a CTA. You've asked them something and they have to click on something. Anytime they're clicking on something, it does help boost engagement and brings you up in their news feed a little bit more. So if you're never including a CTA, well, they don't know how to buy from you because you haven't said, here's the next step. And the final reason, this is not an exhaustive list, but the final reason is that your customers aren't your ideal customers. So I mentioned Facebook groups, and I see a lot in Facebook groups that you can share your Facebook page on certain days, or you do like a follow train, like, oh, it's follow for follow day. I'll follow you and you follow me. And those are great for getting followers, but they're not your ideal followers. So when it comes to selling them something, they don't care. So you may have this big list of followers because you followed them, they followed you, they're your friends. Like, I understand that from a support basis, and that it looks good to have a higher following on these social media channels. However, they're not your ideal customers, and if you're using social media for fun, great, like that's fine. But if you're using social media for business, then you have to be strategic about it. And you don't want people who have zero interest in your business to be following you, because they're not going to become potential buyers. So I think we feel this like pull towards social media because everybody's talking about it and it's ubiquitous, but we really don't have that strategy behind it. Where we're using it as a strategic marketing method to get clients in our door. So email marketing on vice versa here. Email marketing can convert better because it just has a better open rate. There's not so many algorithms and so many factors that go into email marketing as compared to social media. So if you have an email list and you're using like a CRM where you can get like the metrics on who's opening your emails, how often, that sort of thing, a 20 to 30% open rate is actually really, really good. And if you have higher than a 30% open rate, that's like amazing. You're doing amazing. Okay. So let's look at that. Let's take that 500 number. So if you have 500 Instagram followers, at most 25 people out of that 500 will see a post on any given day under best circumstances. Okay. For email marketing, if you have a list of 500 people are on your email list, well, 20% of that is 100 and 30% is 150. So those same 500 people, if they're on your email list, you have a way better chance of your message getting in front of them. I would rather take 100 people opening my email than maybe only getting 10 likes on my post on social media. So email is more of a commitment, and it has better, there are algorithms that are in email marketing that play into things. And of course you need a good subject line. So there's other things going on, but in general, even if you get 20% open rate, which I know that seems low, but that I'm telling you, like, that's really, really good. Like, that's what you're aiming for. If you have a less than 20% open rate, it might be your subject lines, right? Like, that's the first like entry into opening an email. So clickbaity subject lines don't really work anymore. But yeah, so I just, for me, I try and name my emails exactly what's in the email so people know what to expect. So I've gotten away from like the clickbaity and overly hyped, sensitive language in subject lines, because inevitably it's going to just turn people off or let them down on what you're actually including in the content of the email. Okay, the other pro about using email marketing versus social media is that you can put tons of clickable links in your emails. I wouldn't do that, but you can't put a clickable link in an Instagram post, but you can in your emails. So that's another pro for using email marketing. It's a warmer audience, again, because when people have opted into your list, when they've willingly given you their email in exchange for something you're giving them, they're a much more warmer audience than your non-ideal social media followers. And lastly, email marketing is definitely more comfortable if you're shy. I am a shy person by nature who has kind of overcome a lot of that, but with email, it's majority of email still is text. Yes, you can include photos. Yes, you can include videos, but Instagram, you have to, right? Like, you have to put a photo out there. So if you're shy, email marketing is a more comfortable way of selling to your clients or just engaging with them in general. So here's where we're going to start. We're going to start with talking about who your ideal client or your audience is. Now, if you have the one sheet for this workshop, you can pull that out now. And if you don't, it's totally fine. It just depends on when you registered, if you got it ahead of time or not. But you can pull that out now if you have it. And if you don't, just pull out a scratch sheet of paper, and I'm gonna walk you through everything anyway, but I actually want you working on this now so that you leave with a good idea of what you can offer as your first lead magnet. Okay, but it all starts with figuring out who your audience is. Another note on the one sheet is that if you don't have it, you will get it after this training, and you'll get it by email. It will go out again so that you have it and can kind of use that as your guide. It's also got some tips on it to help you along the way as well. Okay, so the first step is defining your audience. So most people start here with demographics, and you absolutely need to know your demographics, and we're going to go through this a little bit today, but what we really want to focus on is over here, the emotions. So just take a moment now to write down your demographics of your ideal client, what their age range is, what their gender is, what their household income is, and where they hang out. So just start making some notes. With age, I wouldn't do more than like a 20-year range. So maybe, like 25 to 45-year-olds or 50 to 70-year-olds, but stay within about 20 years. And if you're new and you don't really have an audience yet and you feel like anyone could benefit from your services, like let's take personal training, for example. Sure, anyone, any age can benefit from a personal trainer. But who do you really love to work with? Like, maybe you really don't like working with kids and you really want to work with postnatal moms. So I want you to start really narrowing down your audience. How old are they? What's their gender? Roughly what's their household income, or how much are they, like, are they willing to invest, or are they not? Are they looking for a bargain? That kind of thing. And where they hang out. So where they hang out can mean online. What Facebook pages are they looking at? What blogs are they reading? What stores are they shopping in? So those kinds of things, like where do they hang out? Online, in person? Okay, and then the next thing that we really want to focus on is their emotions. So now we need to start answering these questions, because people buy based on emotion. We like to think that it's just the features of the product that we're, or service that we're selling, but they're really emotional buyers. Research has proved this time and time again. They need solutions to their problems, so they're buying on emotion. If they believe you can help them, they're going to buy. So the first thing I want you to write down is, what problems is your ideal customer facing? What keeps them like up at night? What do you keep hearing, like in various Facebook groups, or if you're actively listening to places where your ideal audience is, like, or if you are your ideal audience, what do you read? What are your problems? What's the journey that you've gone through, that you've overcome? Like, what was the biggest problem that you were facing? Because once you know their problems, you can start creating a solution. And that's what building a lead magnet is all about. It's creating a solution for your ideal audience. Okay, so what emotions are they feeling is the next question here. What emotions are they feeling? Just jot down some emotions. Maybe they're frustrated, maybe they're sad, maybe they're annoyed. Whatever it is. What have you said about your journey? Like, oh, that was so hard and I couldn't take it any longer. Or, like, just think about how you explain your emotions about what you're feeling when you're going through something. When you have a problem, what does it feel like? And then conversely, we also want to flip it to a positive, because we just don't know what messaging will resonate with our audience until we can really start testing that. So what are their aspirations? So yes, they have a problem, but on the other side of that, they're looking for a transformation. They're aspiring towards something. So what is on the other side of their problem? What do they hope to achieve? Going back to the fitness example, is, if you work with postnatal moms, they want their pre-baby body back, right, as quickly as possible. So that's their aspiration. Their problem is they've tried every diet and they're not losing the weight, or they can't get rid of their baby belly, but they really want to have like a flatter stomach, and they want to be confident in the bathing suit. So there's an emotion, confidence, and you're painting the picture. So you have to be able to like really paint the picture for what they're aspiring towards. Okay, and then we already talked about this just a little bit, but what do you remember about your journey? These super powerful marketers have walked that same path. Like, if you've traveled down the path and you got through some tough times, some yucky times, you've overcome some things, and you're now teaching how to get through that, you have to remember your journey and everything that you felt so that you can share that with your audience, because that's what creates a connection. Okay, so think about your journey and how it will engage your audience. Okay, hope you have some ideas there. So now we're going to move into the deliverable. So now that you're starting to think about, okay, that my customers want this solution, how can I give them a very high level solution to their problems? So this is where the lead magnet comes in. It's you're going to solve their problem on a, like I said, like in a general level. I mean, you do want it to be very valuable so that they stick around and consider buying from you. But let's move into how you can actually give them something, your deliverable. So once you've decided this is how I'm gonna, or this is the problem, here's how I solve it, it has to come through email. So we're talking about email form. So it can be a how-to guide. Maybe it's a challenge that they sign up for. If you have a product-based business and you can send a free sample, you know, like they opt in, and that's what, like, okay, give me your email and I'll send you a, you know, a sample of skincare, something like that, like those little tiny like foil packets, free samples. Like you may spend a few dollars on shipping, but if the product costs more than your shipping, then you're ending up making money. So I don't want you to think of these things as like I'm potentially losing money. Marketing in any way is an investment, and if you have to get your product into people's hands for them to buy it, then do it. I mean, this is the same example that Costco uses, right? They put those people out in stands at the ends of aisles so that you can taste something and, ooh, that was really good. Now I'm going to go into this aisle and find it and buy it, right? same idea here. You can do a free quiz that maybe gives them the answer to something they're looking for. If you're in business, maybe like a template, like an email template, or a report, and you can offer free trainings as well. So start thinking about like, okay, how would what would my client want? Like ebooks used to be huge. Like you used to opt into an email list and you would get this 72-page ebook. Well, no one wants that anymore. So it has to be sort of bite-sized, what you're giving them, because people are too busy these days to read a 72-page document. So just think about a concise way that you can solve their problems, and deliver it to them via email. So you may be sending them a link in the email, and that's fine. Or maybe they're just opting into like a challenge, like I said. Or anyway, when you give them your lead magnet, it can be one of these things: a guide, a challenge, a free sample, a quiz, really anything. The sky is the limit as long as it's kind of just bite-sized. So now I want to have you we're going to take like a few minutes brainstorming moment here, and I want you to think about naming your lead magnet. So this is just time to do a brain dump. So use your scratch paper and think about, okay, this is their problem. So what would I name this thing to entice them to give me their email? So, ooh, that sounds really good. I'm going to give you my email so that you'll send me that thing. So again, like going back to that fitness example, it could be six ways to get your pre-baby body back. You can make it more specific, like 6 foods, I'm thinking off the top of my head here, 6 foods you need to eat to restore your postpartum belly, something like that. So I want you to just I'm going to stop talking and give you a few moments here to just brain dump. Like, what could you call this thing you're creating as we go here? What would you name it? Now, one of the things that I mentioned on the one sheet for this training is that you can name things in a negative voice and you can name things in a positive voice. So um, your audience may respond well to one. It can be the same exact thing that you're ending up delivering. You're just calling it something positive or something negative. And the only way you're going to know which one your audience responds to is if you test them both. But so you, as you're brain dumping here, you may be thinking it's all like, uh, like negative things like, um, I'm still going with that postpartum example, like 5 ways you're harming your uh, postpartum belly with foods. Like that's harsh. And sorry, that's the only thing that came to my mind. Like, but you could name a product that, right? That's the negative naming. Or it could be the same product, but you could flip it to a positive name like 5 essential foods to um, melt postpartum belly fat, something like that. So I hope you kind of get what I'm saying here. Like it can be like kind of a negative named title or a positive named, and you just don't know like until you start testing this and actually putting it out there to what your audience is going to respond to. So just pick one, and if there's so many variables when you launch these things, but if you're launching and you're not getting a good response on it, it could simply be the title. So like I think a lot of the times we'll scrap an entire thing that we've created without looking at like what is the detail that it could have been that my audience wasn't responding to it. So again, it can be the same exact content, just 2 different titles. All right, so we're going to keep this moving. So what do you do once your lead magnet is ready to promote? Once it's all created, all your systems are set up, where do you promote it? Well, everywhere. It can be on every blog you write. So even if you blog once a month or less, like it doesn't matter. Every blog at the bottom can have a place to opt in to your list, right? Because if you're driving people to your blog and they're not on your email list, you want to capture them, okay? So you put it at the bottom of every blog you write. You can put it on Pinterest. Pinterest is like Google Lite, so people who are searching for things can find your lead magnet or your blogs that lead to your lead magnet on Pinterest. You can put it in your Instagram bio, right? Like that's kind of one of the only places that you can have a clickable link on Instagram. Of course, if you have more than 10,000 followers, then you can get the swipe up option. However, if you don't have 10,000 followers, you can put this in your Instagram bio, a clickable link. So you don't just send them to your website, but you send them to your lead magnet, which will most likely have a separate link once it's created. You can also put it in your email signature. So if you're just emailing like your local contacts and they're not necessarily on your list, maybe you've just met them at a networking event or whatever, you're making new connections and they're not fully invested in your list yet. If you just put it at the bottom of your email signature, it's another way to capture people onto your list. You can put it on LinkedIn. If you already have a Facebook group going, you can post it as a file in there for people to always refer to, or you can get people from Facebook off of Facebook and onto your email list by including the link to opt in, right? Because ideally we do want to get our social media followers onto our email list so that more people see our offer. And then another way to promote, of course, is Facebook ads. That's a little more advanced. But what I wanted to share, for transparency purposes, with my email marketing, I do use Facebook ads. Because with these other ones, those are all organic, right? They don't cost you anything to post it on Pinterest or to, put it in your email signature. That doesn't cost you anything. So it's a great free way to promote your list being built. with those free ways, you get more of a drip. Like you'll see like sporadic, like one here, one there. You know, you might get, you know, like a handful a month, which is great. I'm not saying don't do that. You absolutely should. I still do that. I get the drip in, but about 1 week every month, I do use a Facebook ad to really boost my lead magnet to get people to opt into my list. So I just wanted to kind of just be transparent and real with that all these methods are viable, and Facebook ads is a whole nother giant discussion that we could have. They do work if you're super dialed in on them and you really know your target audience and what problems they need solutions to and how to reach them on Facebook. But I think a lot of people use Facebook ads to sell something, to put a price tag on something, and you don't see the ROI on that, the return on investment, because you haven't built that know, like, and trust yet. You're just like this random person who's trying to sell something to you, and it may not pertain to the audience that sees it on Facebook. So you have to get super, super dialed in on who you're serving, what their problems are, what their aspirations are for Facebook ads to work. And then what you sell them through a Facebook ad is your lead magnet. You don't sell them on like buying from you. You sell them on getting onto your email list. So it's a different kind of strategy. It's spending money to grow your list as opposed to spending money to just try and sell something to customers who may not want it. Okay, so as a summary, a lead magnet is an essential evergreen piece of your overall marketing strategy. So evergreen means that it's always pertinent. You can use it all the time, as opposed to like seasonal. So like when you're putting a lead magnet together for your first one, you want it to be evergreen. You don't want to say like 4 tips through making it through the summer, right? Because then you can only market that during the summer. So it needs to be something that you can always be promoting, okay? So you also need a deep understanding of what your audience is going through, and that is critical in your marketing message. I know sometimes we think we need to like hire a copywriter because we can't get our message right, we don't say things right. Well, when you start talking about emotion, then your message starts to come through. Then people start feeling that, and that's what they buy. People are emotional buyers. We just are. So you need a deep understanding of what your audience is going through, what their problems are, what their aspirations are, and you use those in your marketing to show that you have a solution. We're always positioning ourselves as entrepreneurs or business people that we have a solution to our problems, or to their problems, I should say. Okay, so create an evergreen lead magnet once and post it everywhere. Like I said, like it's work to create a lead magnet. It is. I'm not gonna like tell you that this is a super simple thing. It's work, but once you created it once, it's created, and then you just like start tweaking it. You don't have to create a new wheel. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. So think, people are always dealing with this problem. I have the solution. I can market this just as much in March as I can in August. Okay, so next steps. So I know you probably have like a lot of questions on how to move forward, like how do you actually link these things to your blog. So I want to tell you about my course, Successful Sales Without Social Media. So my course is a 4 to 6 week course that will help you go deeper on your audience so you can write compelling copy. I think copywriters are great, but you need to truly understand your audience so that you can write. Like you can outsource to a copywriter, but that's going to be a huge investment that you now have to sell double because you have to pay your copywriter when you send out an email or when you make a post, okay? So when you understand your audience and your journey, you can write that compelling copy, okay? You can also, this course will also give you directions on how to create your lead magnet. Like we'll go deeper into, okay, you're gonna make a PDF. Well, how do you create that? And then the next one, it helps you, I give you step-by-step instructions on linking your lead magnet with an opt-in page so your email list grows. So if you don't know how to create a landing page or even get a link or an opt-in form onto your website, my course will help show you do that. Then I talked about systems in the beginning, right? So this course will help you automate an email sequence that keeps you top of mind. Because when people are starting to opt into your list, they've given you their email, you've given them the free thing, you can set up emails that they just get on a drip that your system automatically sends out to them. So it saves you time when you have these systems in place. Again, it's work to create it once, but then it's in place and it just goes automatically, so that you create this thing, let's say now in July, someone opts in September, you don't have to send them 100 follow-up emails. You've already created it in your system, and they are going to get them just on auto. Okay, so my course is showing you how to do all these things.